Hello and welcome back to another garden tour. If this is your first time, I have been doing garden tours since the beginning of this year, documenting the changes and growth and development of my little urban garden here in Toronto. And quite a bit has changed since last month. Last month we were buried under a good bit of snow and there was really nothing to see at that time. Since then we have a lot of bulbs that are starting to come up. We've even had some flowers already, and the weather is also drastically different. Currently it has been fluctuating in temperature. We've had some really warm days, unseasonably warm, above 10 degrees Celsius, and we've also had some cold days which are barely breaking zero. We've had a mix of rain and a mix of sun. Today is quite beautiful, but the next few days they're calling for a bit of rain. That's going to be bringing in another warm front, and then it's going to be up over 10 degrees again. So it's really hit and miss as to what the weather has been so far this month, but it has been bringing forth a lot of new growth between the rain melting everything away and the sunshine bringing everything to life. So I'm going to take you for a little wander and we'll see what we've got to offer. If you are looking for more kid-friendly Southern Ontario Canadian gardening videos, as well as what to do in the region, then hit that subscribe button as we will be pushing out more content in the coming weeks. So first off, we have our little barrel here by the front door that has our blueberries, and at the end of last month we did a bit of pruning. So I took out one of the really leggy sections here, trying to encourage it to do some new regenerative growth. These are still very young blueberries, so the typical pruning methods that you would be applying later on don't yet apply. We have hyacinths beginning to pop up. We've actually had quite a few bees already coming and visiting the garden space as well. Most of them are native bees that overwinter in the soil. We have a number of crocuses that have been blooming of late. Here we have some more hyacinths breaking through the soil. We have lots and lots of daffodils. We have a bunch of tulips in the back there. We're still the garbage collector for the city. This area over here, I've mentioned in previous videos, is quite a bit warmer than the rest of the garden. So the growth that happens over here, everything always pops up first. And an example of that is a number of the daffodils over in this area already have actual flowers beginning to appear, and the hyacinths also already have flowers, where the squirrels of course have not been eating them all. At the back there, this one's actually already changing color. This one's already starting to go purple on us, which is really, really exciting. And then over here we have more, but the growth is much slower over in these areas. Even though it's a lot of the exact same plants, exact same bulbs out of the same package, the growth is just that much further behind. So over here, these are also daffodils, and they're only just starting to pop up in this area, just due to the exposure that they get. Once again, down in here, we have some more hyacinths breaking through. We have a lot of crocuses that are about to be popping up, and things are just in general starting to perk back up. I've even noticed the viburnum has actually grown. It does not seem to be as short. If I remember correctly, it was previously shorter than the blazing stars around it, and it has done a growth spurt. So mostly what we're finding right now is a lot of the bulbs. We don't have any other early blooming flowers. There are things that are currently in bloom throughout the city. I don't have any of them in my garden space though. Some of those would be examples of hellebores or snowdrops, or the winter aconites as well. And I would love to get my hands on some at some point, but I have not done so yet. So all I have in bloom are the crocuses, and this area over here I had attempted to naturalize this. I had planted over 100 crocuses, maybe even more, and the squirrels beat me to them. They ended up eating all but about 12. So those are slowly reproducing with time, but I had originally made it so that there would be a path of grass to connect into the hardscaping paths, and the rest would all be flowers, and it did not work out. If I do decide to do it again, I will have to put down chicken wire to help protect them. We had also gotten some winter sowing started over the last month, and we already have growth with that, which is exciting. Let's see if I can find some of the ones and actually get a good view here. There we go. So that is some spinach in there. Some of them are newer, some of them are older. The kale also has a bunch of green growing. The calendula as well. Arugula is really taking off in this one. Some nice carpet of green. So we've got quite a bit of growth happening. But even other items, such as the daisy here, are already starting to just perk back up, and new green growth is already starting to appear down below. Once again, we've got some more bulbs over in there, some more crocuses in there. Over on this side, they're only just starting to peek through, even though this gets a lot of sun. This section over here is also a bit more exposed, so it's a little bit slower, but we've got a lot of the crocuses coming up there. I had even noticed on the rose, it is starting to actually show some color and start to perk back up. The redbud is another one that has done a growth spurt in the last few weeks. It has gotten significantly taller than it was. You don't realize it happening, and all of a sudden you look at the plant again and it's just bigger. It was, I'd say, almost a foot shorter just a few weeks ago. The Weigelia here and the burning bush are the other two that I've noticed some pretty big changes on. Mostly the burning bush. It has put out a lot of new growth and has really thickened up already, even though it doesn't have any leaves yet. It's just the branching structure of it has almost doubled. The Weigelia had also, you can see here some of the newer growth in color compared to the older growth. I did not plant any bulbs out in this area last fall, but it is something that I would like to do this coming fall. One of the other new additions is this teepee. I'm in the process of doing a naturalized playground for my daughter, and with all of the recent changes with quarantines, it looks like the timing couldn't be better. So the intention is to have this teepee here, connecting in from the pathway, having some logs for stepping stones and some balancing beams for her, and that way she can challenge herself with some climbing around, and then hang out underneath the teepee, run around the little zone here, smell some flowers, pet some plants. One of the big changes has just been the birds and the bees quite literally coming alive in this area here. We had quite a few bees on the days where it's warmer. They have been unearthing themselves from this back zone here. They've been really enjoying the crocuses. I'm not sure what else they're finding in this area. I know at our local park some of the maples are already blooming and there's some pussy willows. But I haven't seen anything too close to us, so they seem to be going quite a distance to be able to get some food. And one of the garden tasks that I had done earlier this month, beyond pruning the blueberries and the apple tree, was to do a bit of thinning of the straw in certain areas. Due to pollinators, butterflies, bees, etc., I don't actually get rid of any of the straw. I just kind of lighten its load. So as you can see, there's some very thick sections here that it then struggles with getting through, and it doesn't look like it really affected anybody under there, which is good. So I just bag it up and I put it aside until, in theory, everything has bloomed and grown and hatched. And then I will be relocating it to our vegetable garden. But it looks like in the next few weeks, I'd probably say we're still going to be into April before we see any real flowers in this area. But it shouldn't be too much longer now, based on how quickly everything has sprouted up over the last week or two. It really has appeared. I think it was about 2.5 weeks ago now. So being as pregnant as I am right now, I had not intended on starting any seeds indoors. I was going to be relying on the garden centers this spring to pick up little seedlings instead of starting my own. But with all of the craziness that is going on in the city, I think I am going to start a few seeds at least, and that way I have something when May hits to plant in the ground, just in case there are any other hiccups and delays that we just can't foresee with what's going on. I'd rather not leave it to chance. We have pretty much all of the leafy greens I had intended already started here, along with a bunch of flowers. And I guess that reminds me, where the bees come up, I had also planted some poppy seeds there, so we'll see if they'll actually germinate and sprout. But this month, probably in the next week, I will be starting some tomatoes. I should have already started peppers. That should have happened about a week, well, probably 2, even 3 weeks ago now. But since I was not planning on doing it, I didn't start them. So I'll plant a few pepper plants as well and see where we get to with that. So I hope you have enjoyed this little pop of spring in your feed. It is not a lot of greenery yet, but it is better than nothing at all. I'm appreciating what we're getting. Even the lavender is already starting to perk back up a little bit. I'm still expecting to get a little bit more snow. We normally get a dumping of some sort in March, even into April. But in general, I don't expect much to stick around anymore. I think we're beyond that point, and we should be seeing flowers shortly. The almanac was calling for an early spring, and it does look as if that will be the case after all. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and you will tune in again next time.